When people talk about the greatest Counter-Strike players of all time, they usually think of the fraggers. Simple, Device, Zywoo, players who light up the scoreboard. But what if being the greatest isn't just about fragging? What if it's about impact, the ability to shape teams, elevate others, and win against all odds? By that definition, one player stands above them all.
Once again you were behind, once again you had to come back and then hold on. How are you doing this?
I don't know.
Easy for
Aleksib first rose to fame at the 2019 Katowice Major with ENCE. Nobody expected him to win, but through his leadership, ENCE dismantled giants. Liquid, Navi, eventually losing to the powerhouse Astralis in the grand finals. This run was powered by an unlikely superstar in Aleksib through structure, tactics, and discipline. Don't believe me? While Aleksib wasn't the one fragging out, the impact was still clear in the stats of his teammates. While playing with Aleksib, 3 of his teammates had their all-time best rating and earned their only Tier 1 trophy. Although this may have been true, ENCE still believed they needed a change, and they looked towards their IGL. Despite the success he had brought the team, Aleksib was kicked from ENCE. Not surprisingly, following his departure, every single player on the team went down in rating, with ENCE completely disappearing from the Tier 1 scene. At the time, this could have been brushed off as a mere coincidence, but we'll later come to learn that this was not the case.
Also, B is now completely empty. This is even worse than last round. Okay. And it's another save.
The easy save right here. Aleksib is a fucking genius.
What separates Aleksib from almost every other IGL is his ability to build systems. Not quick fixes, not give the star player some flashes and hope. He builds frameworks where everyone has a role and every piece matters. That's why under Aleksib, players must play under a system to succeed. At first, it seems like it diminishes star power, but instead of revolving around certain players making certain plays, Aleksib's teams play as a unit. His teams are cohesive, flexible, and balanced. When everyone follows the system, anyone can top frag, and almost every player performs above their baseline. Compare that to a team like Spirit today. Donk is a monster. If he's on, Spirit can beat anyone. But if he's shut down, they crumble. Aleksib's teams are the opposite. They don't rely on one superstar. On Navi, anyone can top frag. One day it's Bit, next day it's Ima, then suddenly, wonderful. This balance makes his teams much harder to counter and far more enjoyable to watch, at least for me. The story is never about one player, it's about all of them performing together.
Quick to patch up the hole. It's just Aleksib left, and he goes for the fight and wins it against Cursorado. Smoke deployed in towards CT, but a million thoughts racing through Aleksib's head right now. Likely only one way he comes out on top. See how Aleksib decides to approach the clutch.
I think he needed to scope earlier. Now he's in a difficult position, right? He could go and search if he was scoped in, but he's going to give himself away. He's waiting for sound cues.
Yes, Yuri's taking ground as well. The contact, he's getting so close. Scope goes in, alerts the position because Yuri's pushed up so okay, Aleksib. One more left, and potentially the IGL will be the star of the show. Aleksib looking for another one. Just trying to style on the Furia player. Safe gets on the defuse, and Aleksib goes around the...
Think about how rare this is. Aleksib has led ENCE, OG, G2, NIP, and Navi, 5 completely different orgs across 2 versions of Counter-Strike, and almost every time, teammates' performances improved under him. The only major exception, G2. There, conflicting philosophies with coach Xtaz limited his system's effect, and teammates didn't rise as much. As a result, his time at G2 was very swift, and performance was poor. Throughout his career, many players didn't want to play Aleksib's brand of Counter-Strike, not just Nico and m0NESY. We also saw a lot of struggle with Simple at the start of the new era of Navi. This disciplined, calculated style of CS was a harsh contrast to the majority of the pro scene. Most players want to be let off the leash, defaulting, solo entering into the site, and carrying their team to victory. Under Aleksib, this would never happen, and the system would never work.
Here we go.
This one
right
over
side.
here.
Here we go. Let him know.
Tell him what you really
Man,
feel.
screw Aleksib haters. Every single time you go into HL TV, Aleksib is the problem. Aleksib is losing the game. No, it doesn't happen like that. The team is responsible for the losses and the wins. It's not just the in-game leader. Of course, he might piece the puzzle more than the usual player, but it's still a player. He's part of the team. He's not the team. So if we lose, that's our fault.
In 2024, aleksib led Navi to win the Copenhagen Major, the first major in CS2. It was the crowning moment of his career. But even after reaching the top, Navi has struggled to stay consistent. Some blame firepower, some blame the new meta, some haven't learned and still blame aleksib. But the system aleksib built is still there. Players like Bit and Ima are still performing at career highs because of his guidance. The occasional setbacks aren't a failure, they're part of adapting a roster and meta. History shows aleksib always finds a way to make his team excel again, and I have no doubt that he is capable of lifting more trophies and winning more majors.
Hei läpi!
Jäikö se?
Jää yksi aina.
No näin kyllä heittää hyvää meemiä, kun nää heittää.
So why is aleksib the greatest Counter-Strike player of all time? Because greatness isn't just about headshots. It's about vision, structure, and the ability to make teammates better. He has elevated almost every player he's led, turning underdogs into finalists, rookies into all-stars, and cohesive units into major champions. aleksib's greatness doesn't show up on the scoreboard. He's the one setting up the stars. He takes bad roles, throws key utility, and sacrifices himself to make rounds winnable. You will rarely see him top frag, but his teammates consistently perform better under his leadership. That kind of invisible impact separates aleksib from the rest of the people who play the game. And in that game, no one has done more, for more teammates, than aleksib.
All I have to say is, Torilla tavataan!